Here we go.
Are we going?
We're going.
Do you want to...
Let it play. Let it play. Sorry, everyone. Mark and I were just...
I don't know if we got the beginning of it.
I think we got enough. I think they get the idea. Anyway, Mark and I were just saying clips from our favorite movie, the progenitor of this podcast, the movie Casino.
Casino. Yeah.
Thank you, Marty Scorsese, for the idea for this podcast, known as the Gimme Shelter Podcast.
Which I would like to lodge a formal complaint. I don't think we can name a podcast after the theme song of the podcast. I think that's insane. And also, because the theme song is a reference to a joke that got left on the cutting room floor last week.
Well, you know, when the commissioner comes back from fishing in Fort Myers, Florida, in 6 weeks... He's getting massages. He's got a bad back. He's out there getting some sun.
I think we should call it Zen in the Art of Fantasy Football.
Well, what you should all know is there will not be a poll because the name of the podcast is the Give Me Shelter.
No.
Not Give Me. Give Me Shelter.
No,
Give Me.
I disagree.
And you know, God bless America, where you're still free to do that. Welcome. It's Mark and Gabe. Fantasy Football Talk. Give Me Shelter Podcast. How you doing? We're great. We're great.
Thank you.
Smooth sailing, if I might be so bold. All right, Mark.
You want to get to some topics?
Not really, but
No?
let's
Okay.
try.
Okay.
Let's see what we can... You got that water handy?
I do.
Do you think they can see me doing the air quotes?
I don't think they can.
Woo! So I'm not quite as sick as I was last time, so my laughter isn't wheezy anymore. It's just quiet. Quiet, really hard laughter.
You should do something about that. That was like key to the character.
I am going to do something about it shortly. So, just like last week, we're going to break this up into sections. And this week, we're going to just start with a recap of last week. It's like starting your movie with a flashback.
Sure. Yeah.
So... let me just begin by saying I was way off.
Yeah.
Way off.
Yeah, you got a lot of predictions wrong. You were 1 for 4.
Just call me Russ Mishniak in the predictions department.
Oh, we're gonna roast him. He has no recourse.
Could we make sure to send this to him?
I mean, he hates you enough already, so maybe. Yeah.
Oh, come on. So... first on the docket, I predicted that Fear the Walking Female would walk over Beer Down. Wrong. Predicted Foxy Mama would beat Daniel Burnham's. Wrong. Predicted that 3 Portillos would beat Wooden Indian. Wrong. The only thing I got right was my continued domination of Evolution of the Goat, who you may have heard was the 2015 fantasy football champion. But it was so long ago, it beggars belief.
You know what? I have not seen Evolution of the Goat on the trophy, and I look at that trophy every day.
Oh my god. Are you still holding on to that? Didn't you have to give that back?
No, I keep it until somebody else wins it.
I thought when you fall below 500 in the following season, you gotta return it.
No, that's not how it works.
Are you still below 500?
No,
okay.
I'm at 500 now.
So, let's recap these games. Beer Down beat Fear of the Walking Female. Stunning game. And I think I would call it a little bit of Walking Female having an off week. And Waiver Wire work by Beer Down, picking up Robert Woods, I believe.
Yeah.
Wide receiver for the Rams. That was a great pickup. I'm not sure when he did it. I think it was about 2 weeks ago because it was right around the time I was looking up to pick up a wide receiver from the Rams, except I picked the wrong one. I picked the one who gets 10 points a week, not 42. So congratulations to Beer Town. That was, did not give up, did some work, and that has implications for the larger part of the league, but we'll get to that. Next game on the docket was Daniel Burnham's versus Foxy Mama.
Yay. Me. I didn't want it to sound like I was cheering for the other team.
So, you know, this is another one. I think I would call it a case of major waiver wire work on the part of Daniel Burnham's, who I don't know why I'm talking about like he's not here.
I'm here.
He's here.
Yeah.
He exists, everyone.
Yeah.
Who did you pick up?
Let's see. not last week, but 2 weeks ago, I think I picked up Funches. I picked up Orleans Darkwa, the Detroit Lions defense.
Can we simplify this? You picked up the Lions defense, who kicked ass, and Matthew Stafford, who kicked ass.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. I picked him.
Matt Stafford. I forgot.
I was so surprised that he was available that it just left my mind that I picked him up.
Well, it's not a deep league, so these kind of players are available, and people like Matt Stafford can really hammer it home. You won by a very commanding score. 70-some-odd points, 184 to 111. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Again, we will talk about those implications later. Wooden Indian, in a heartbreaker, beat Three Portillos by 2 points?
2 points.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
The only game that was more fun to watch was the tie earlier in the season. Oh my God.
Yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to consistency scoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wooden Indian ended up getting the best performance out of Isaiah Crowell that we've seen all season, I think.
I think in Isaiah Crowell's entire life.
Probably.
Frankly.
I mean, I drafted that dude, and he sucked.
People have been drafting him for years, and this is the most successful game he's ever had on a winning team. I mean, when Mark and I were looking at the box score for this, it was just a consistency on Wooden Indians roster. Everybody scored in the double digits, with the exception of Dez Bryant, who shockingly enough. And Three Portillos made just about all the right moves. I mean, Mark Ingram, AJ Green, Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey. It looked like he was going to take the game away by 1, maybe 2 points. He fell short. It's because people like Marvin Jones Jr., a big 3 points. Jordan Howard, 5 points. Yeah. Brutal. Meanwhile, Devontae Adams scores 20. Demaryius Thomas with 15. I mean, these are the breaks of fantasy football. And I think fantasy is just, sometimes it seems like it's just a matter of chance or luck. I mean, balanced with your waiver wire work, your prowess during the draft and throughout the season, trying to read the tea leaves. But I mean, for example, this guy Sterling Shepard, I had him for a heartbeat, or I thought about it, just like I think about any waiver wire pickup that scores in the double digits very impressively.
Yeah.
But the guy has gotten 11, 4, 10, 1, 0, 0. His 2 best games were against Philly in Week 3, 31 points, and San Francisco Week 10. We should have seen it coming because San Francisco is a goddamn dumpster fire. But it's just... who knew that was going to happen with that many shit scores on his resume?
Yeah, no kidding.
And I know what you guys really want to talk about. You want to talk about the way I deftly handled Evolution of the GOAT. This is a pattern extending for, I feel like, the last 2 or 3 seasons, with the exception of my 13-1 season, which it's still the best regular season record ever. Mm-hmm. I know... It's just one of the many things I share with the Patriots, losing,
Yeah.
But anyway, that game was just, Ben Roethlisberger did great for his standards now. I can't believe he even scored that high. I mean, for fuck's sake. You have Le'Veon Bell, Juju Schuster, Jr., Sanders, whatever.
Yeah, that guy.
Unbelievable. Downtown Antonio Brown,
amazing.
and he's barely cracking 20 points. Most weeks he's getting in the teens, if I'm not mistaken. Or it feels like it. Whatever. That game was what it was. What I really want to talk about is, what do these wins and losses mean for the season? Because last week we spent a lot of time talking about how first place is kind of set in each division, but second and third place, there's some movement.
Yeah.
And, Mark, let's just start with your team. Daniel Burnham's Foxy Mama lost. You beat her. It was a head-to-head game.
Yeah, I improved a game. I'm a half game back from second place now, and only 1 game back from first. So if I can string a couple wins together, maybe get a streak going, then we got a stew.
We got a stew? Is that the metaphor you're going with? We have a stew.
I think so. I think that's the metaphor. You know what? I said it. I said it.
Yeah, no, stick to it.
We're only 9 minutes and 45 seconds in. We can start over.
No, we can't. Here's the... Mark, could you just take the mic for a second while I do whatever it is I'm doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? Fantasy football, huh?
Jesus Christ. Mark.
I'm your sidekick. You can't leave it up to me.
Come on, Mark. Anyway, so that's what's going on. What I think is very interesting in the East Division. In the West, where, as always, I reign supreme.
Sure.
You know, I think
until playoff times come.
Well, yeah, until the playoffs, asshole. You know, you can't.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. But I would say in the West Division, what's interesting is Eric's team had a good win streak going. They were creeping up on Lewis's team, and this was just a huge missed opportunity on his part. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Waiver wire pick. We just talked about it. Sometimes it just comes down to luck.
Occasionally, teams lose to the Browns. It just happens.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Guys, I just want to take this moment to talk about our sponsor, Audible.com. Audible is America's leading provider of spoken word and audio entertainment with over 1.3 million
books available.
Yes, thank you. Books available. I get confused when it's like audio, but it's a book, you know.
Yeah,
but
Stitcher.com, right?
Stitcher Premium is a different thing. Let's take a minute and respect our sponsors. So, God damn it!
I'm sorry.
Damn it! Gabe.
I'm sorry. I thought I could do it without reading the copy, but I was off.
That's why they give us copy. That's why they give us copy.
Hey, I don't think they're gonna like that we're
Audible.com. Fuck. Audible.com. For your free 30-day trial, go to Audible.com. Use offer code Zen.
What?
That's Audible.com. Offer code Zen.
And I'd like it taken. You son of a bitch. We had to start over.
Hopefully, when the commish does the post production, he can cover up that flub with some sort of hilarious edit.
Yeah, I think there'll be a fade out and then a fade back in. Maybe he'll have the theme song,
or just he can just throw a laugh track in there, and then
a laugh track.
It's totally fine.
Again,
in fact, all of this should be cut out probably.
I want it. I need it. And I want it.
Okay. So
let me just pick up where we left off.
We were talking about stunning victory over 3 Patriots.
Yeah, and the way I see it, as I was saying, missed opportunity because Eric's team was really getting close to having, I wouldn't even say having a chance, but potentially overtaking Lewis's team. And, I did him a favor. I put Lewis in his place again. And, I set it on a silver platter, Now he's 2 games back again. It's like last week didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, it is, so it goes in fantasy football. Let's move on to projections. Are you ready, Mark? Are you ready for this? Please put the sound drop in for that song from the 90s. Da, 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 da.
Okay. You don't have to, I think Pat will figure it out. You don't have to sing it.
I want to make sure that he gets it. It's like a tag, a cigarette burn on a movie, like Change the Reel.
Right, yeah.
Fight Club reference.
I mean, that's just a film reference in general.
Well, okay. You know things. Film. Great. And we're back. Projections. Let's start with Wooden Indian versus Fear of the Walking Female. These teams, all these are it's inter, right? Inter, not intra.
Correct.
Interdivisional games now.
Yes.
So, there we go. Okay.
Is that all we're going to say about it?
That's it. That's all we need to say. Well, these games are they're not as important as your intra-divisional games, but it's still important because somebody on the other division can do you a favor. Yep. And some teams, like we alluded to, are in a position now where destiny is no longer in their hands. They need other teams to help them out. Mm-hmm. So let's start with Wooden Indian playing Fear of the Walking Female. Last time they played, Wooden Indian actually beat Wooden Walking Female, whatever, 123-104. And what do we think is going to happen this week? What do we think is different between this time and the last time they matched up?
Well, we have some interesting situations. Carlos Hyde is on a bye.
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton is on a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some points that are not going to be available. And it doesn't look like, I'm scanning through Wooden Indians roster. It doesn't look like he's got anybody on a bye. And, not to mention, major players. So.
Well, it looks like he's got, the full strength of his team.
Yeah.
I think having this Ernst fella is very interesting because the Eagles are one of the top teams in the league, if not the team to watch out for.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree.
I'm not sure, what are the projections right now? It's still projected that Fear the Walking Female is going to beat Wooden Indian, but if last week taught us anything...
It's anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen.
We're setting up random number generators on our team, basically.
Yeah.
we gotta
math it up, nerd. You want to get beat up now?
we gotta hope that they generate the right numbers for us.
There we go. We got Evolution of the Goat versus Daniel Burnhams. That's you, Mark. Last time you guys played Evolution of... That name is too fucking long. Could you just have a normal team name? Come on. Evolution of the GOAT. What is that even? Greatest of all time?
Let's not dignify it. Let's cut...
what?
Cut that part out.
No, you know what?
I'm calling... Where we pretending we know what it is.
You know what? It's over. It's 51% chance of lame. That's what it is for the rest of this podcast. Anyway. Last week you guys played... He got you 122, 114. I think the biggest difference between what happened in week 4 and what's going to happen this coming week is there's no... who is it? Who's not there for him? Or is it all... Does he have all his players? What's he got? What's different this time?
So this time, I don't have Matt Ryan anymore.
Yes. That is a huge change.
He kind of screwed me.
How many weeks did you stick with him?
5, 6.
Jesus Christ.
It seems like forever. It seemed like an eternity.
Well, there's this saying, I think it was Georgia O'Keeffe who said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Why did it take you 5 or 6 weeks to get that lesson down?
I don't want to act like we're idiots, and I don't want to bring down the level of discourse, but we're talking about fantasy football, and you're sitting here quoting Georgia O'Keeffe. In a smoking jacket with your Batman slippers.
I told you not to mention that. People need to think I'm always wearing a suit and have a pompadour.
Oh, boy. All right. Can we get back on track?
Well, you know what? I want to know why you have an Atlanta player, their tight end. What is that? Hooper?
Because ASJ's on a bye. And... I kind of fucked myself on tight ends this year, so.
Beer Down versus 3 Portillos. Last time Beer Down won, 131-97. I think it's simple to say that 3 Portillos has remade his entire team, so.
Yeah.
What's the projection looking like?
3 Portillos by 10 points. So, all these are really close, though, so it's hard to say, and,
Well, what I think is hilarious, but also interesting, a couple of things. First, Jay Ajayi. That's interesting. Now he's playing on a team where it matters. He was on Miami doing nothing because what the fuck is there to do in Miami besides blow? But what's hilarious about his lineup is he's still starting Doug Martin.
I don't know what's going on.
Did anyone tell him that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have given up on the season?
Yeah.
Did he get that memo? He's closer to the action than us. He's the one fishing in Fort Myers. He should know this.
Does he have... Well, okay, he's got Kareem Hunt on his bench. That just must be... He must have forgot just to set his lineup this week.
You know what? All the Norco that they have him on for his back, he probably forgot. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
I don't want to sound like I'm giving people pointers because, I'm in no position, but
Well, when you're 8-2, you can give people pointers.
Fair enough.
And you can also make predictions and go 1-4.
Yeah. Yeah.
At last, I'm matching up with Foxy Mama. Last time we played, it was 167-108. Right now the projection is pretty tight. There's only a few points separating us.
Yep.
Dak Prescott is her quarterback. Zeke Elliott is now suspended. I wonder how that's going to affect Prescott, if there's going to be more on his shoulders, if he's going to be scoring a lot higher than usual. Mm-hmm. She has Antonio Brown. She has a great team.
Yeah.
It's a really great team. If I'm not mistaken, I think Alshon Jeffrey is listed as questionable for the game. I think he's got some ankle thing. We'll see what happens there. But again, you've got a great wide receiver on one of the top teams in the league. He's going to produce something.
Oh, absolutely. You got a tough matchup. I really need you to win, though. It's like, pull out all the stops. Give the pep talks. Watch Any Given Sunday. Do whatever you have to do. Contact the collective. See what strings they can pull.
Oh, yeah. I got a letter from those guys. They were pretty upset that I divulged that information. That breaking news, that the commissioner put out.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something that we're going to talk about the wire. There haven't been too many moves in the last few days, but what I'd like to talk about is who's available on the waiver wire right now. And there's two pickups that I think are very, very valuable. I think people should look into it. One of them is the Seahawk defense, and the other is the availability of Cam Newton. And
interesting.
I want to bring that up briefly because the Seahawks have a pretty cushy set of opponents coming up. And I know that the team right now is dealing with a lot of injuries. But here's who they have coming up. This week is Atlanta, and Atlanta still has a lot of weapons, so it's hit or miss. But they're just not the team they were last season, so you've got a good chance of getting points. They're playing San Francisco. They're at the bottom of the league. They're playing Philly. That's a tough game. They're playing Jacksonville. That's a tough game. But they also have Arizona at the end. There's a few teams in there where I think if you, depending on what week you pick them up and stash them away, they can get some big points for you. The person I really want to talk about is Cam Newton. I have loved this guy for a couple of seasons in fantasy, and he's let me down more often than not. But the reason I always pick him up is because he throws it.
Any particular games where he's let you down?
Yeah, the championship last season, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh, I had Dak Prescott, and I didn't play him because I'm an idiot. But I think Cam Newton is finally rounding into form.
So it might be a good bye week pickup.
I think so, too. There's a lot of strong teams that they're playing. Minnesota, New Orleans. I can't believe I'm saying the Jets are a strong team now.
I can't believe we're saying New Orleans is a strong team.
Well, their defense.
They're
secondary.
Their defense is good now.
But Drew
it's
Brees
shocking.
threw there was like a 40-some thousand point game, but somehow Drew Brees only had 15 points last week.
It was all running touchdowns. They're like a running powerhouse now.
Yeah.
That was hands down my best waiver wire pickup all season.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Kamehameha?
You can't make a nickname that's longer than the actual name. I will not allow it.
It's happened. Anyway, I think the Seahawks defense, I think Cam Newton are two people sitting on the wire that you might want to pick up, unless you want to give it a shot with two-time Super Bowl winning champ Eli Manning.
Yeah.
And the Ben McAdoo trio. Blake Bortles is up there if you want a game manager. Josh McCown for all you Bears fans out there. I think the Red Rocket is out there.
I don't want to
Casey Keenum, when he's not playing records on the weekends, he's throwing the football for the Minnesota.
I don't want to trash Josh McCown because he was key, I would say, in Beer Down's win last week.
Look, the only key in Beer Down's win last week, and I hate to go back, but I'd love to go back, was Robert Woods scoring 42,000 points.
Fair enough, yeah.
I want to move to the last section of today's pod, trash talk.
Okay.
I love trash talk. I know what you're thinking. This entire charade has been Trash Talk City, but now we're getting into it. We have a point of contention, and Mark brought it up at the start of the podcast. He doesn't like the name. Why don't you like the name, Mark? Why don't you like cool things?
As I said before, you can't just name a podcast after the theme song of the podcast. Plus, the title of the podcast doesn't make any sense as a fantasy football podcast?
Everything's got to mean something. Can't things just sound cool?
The title of the podcast should have meaning.
What the hell does Bohemian Rhapsody mean?
That's a song.
I know it's a song, but, like, what does it mean? Tell me about the lyrical content.
We are talking about podcasts and not songs. These are different forms of media. I'm sure you realize.
Gross. So what are your suggestions, smart guy?
I said already, Zen and the Art of Fantasy Football. It makes sense because the league is called First and Zen.
Yeah.
It's a good literary reference because obviously we are bringing
mixing
the level
media,
of discourse high.
Who's mixing media
you
now?
were referencing Georgia O'Keeffe, so the level of discourse is pretty high here.
I made up that name. I don't know who that is. I read it in a fortune cookie once. Are you kidding me? I already forgot what I said when I said that.
All right. I want to throw a little teaser out. It's sort of a gift for our commissioner, an in memoriam for his season, if you will.
Yes.
I have a little like a plaque, you could say, that I want to present him.
Yeah.
So I think the next time we see him, I'll have just a little teaser.
Okay.
Throwing that out there.
Okay, that's nice. What do we think that he who drives while blindfolded is going to do this week? Is he going to do anything else for the season? You know what? I do want to say this. The teams that are at the bottom, Beer Down and Wood and Indian, they still have a potential to impact the season and what's coming up. Just like we talked about earlier with Wood and Indian beating Three Portillos, Three Portillos, the Mitch Trubisky trio, whatever it is, Wild Horses, I don't know. That icon is confusing to me.
You know, I could go for a Italian beef sandwich.
What?
I'm talking about Portillo's. I could go for an Italian beef sandwich.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
It's 7:30. I haven't eaten dinner.
Hey, Commissioner, could you drop a Price is Right loser horn right here? That's what we need. Mark, could you cue the music? Because I think it's outro time.
Okay.
I think it's outro time.
I agree. We've gone on way too long.
Far too long. Maybe they can cut this out. Or cut it up into something.
Let's hope.
Oh, yeah, the lyric video. Nice. So, this has been the Give Me Shelter podcast. God damn it. It's not up for a vote. That's what it's called.
Whatever. You call it whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. You can do this podcast by your fucking self. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my house.
We're in my apartment.
Shut up.
This week we're letting the whole song play.
We're gonna get some fucking... YouTube's gonna get us on a copyright violation. Shit's gonna get taken down.
Next week we're doing the inch by inch speech from Any Given Sunday.